Hi, I'm Dr. Safaya, email marketing strategist and educator, and I am committed to making email marketing simple and profitable for you through my online email marketing school, Safaya Learning Hall. You can find the link in the show notes. Fun fact, I'm an obstetrician gynecologist resident in training. Yes, I'm an actual practicing medical doctor. Email marketing experiments was born out of the desire to share behind the scenes of failed and successful email marketing campaigns. Simply put, what we've tried, not just me, but me and every guest I bring on the show, what we've tried that has worked or didn't work. So instead of just thinking it and testing it, we're committed to also sharing the BTS with you on this podcast. Come join us behind the scenes. And one more thing, as you listen, if you're a freelancer, service provider, or business owner, go ahead and check the show notes for the gift I kept for you. You'll find it under the title Gift. Now let's go behind the scene. Hi, listeners. Welcome back to Email Marketing Experiment. Before I go ahead to introduce our guest for today, I need to give you some serious fun facts because when I saw this, I was totally blown away and amazed because our guest has, and I'm going to be listing it out for you so you can count along with me. So, top on the list, she has lived in 6 countries, spanning 4 continents. How many continents do we have again? She has visited 40 countries. She is a certified high performance coach trained by Brendan Burchard. She has 12 plus years in strategy consulting, ex Bain, ex Deloitte, and product strategy B2B SaaS. She's also a former MPC bikini bodybuilder, second place novice plus experienced class. I'm not done with the portfolio yet. We're just starting. She is BSc in electrical engineering plus double masters in petroleum and energy economics. Sold out 20 plus original abstract art pieces in 2020 and commissioned artists in 2021, 2022. When I saw this one, I was like, okay, this is like a total flip because we went from strategy, business, business classes, traveling, and I'm like, okay, commissioned artist 13 years in the test and personal development space. She flew a plane once and she learned to snowboard as a full blown adult. I think I remember seeing something about that on her Instagram, right? And I was like, oh, I'd like to try this. There's this movie I watched about it and I saw like the dangers. It looks interesting, but there's just this what if. And she is a former Pilates instructor and weight loss coach. I am talking about no other person than Onikepo, as you may know her, Kepo Omotade. She is a business coach and the host of the Grow with Kepo podcast, where she helps successful corporate professionals earning 6 figures launch their dream business while still working full time. And you know that not everybody does this. A former strategy consultant, like I have already told you, you see her portfolio is quite expansive. And she later moved into B2B SaaS and founded a tech startup. Now she helps high earners identify their genius, package it into an offer, and land their first paying clients without a website, a big audience, or quitting their jobs. It's so good to have you on the podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Okay, wow, thank you. It's very interesting when you hear these things read back to you. It's like, oh, okay, wait. It's okay. You can stop at the third bullet. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but I am trying to brag at the same time. So, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, take all your flowers. This is such an expansive one. So please. All right. So it's so good to have you. Now, he has done something really interesting, which is what we're going to be talking about today. A bit different from our conventional style. Now, I've been following her for a long time, and a while back, she started talking about her newsletter, and she was launching a newsletter, and there was this buzz, and it kept coming up on the feed. And then when I saw the name of the newsletter, it really stood out to me because I'm like, oh, that's such an interesting name. And so today she's going to be taking us on that journey on how she has been launching her newsletter, right? And what she has done so far and how she has started. So, first of all, can you introduce us to the Paid in Full newsletter? I really love the name.
Yeah, thank you. I love it too because who doesn't like to be paid in full? Like when you think about it,
Yeah.
in any walk of life, who doesn't want to be paid in full? And that came about after years of trial and error, right? Of I don't know how I want to reach my audience and all that. But paid in full newsletter is really for my people and the people that are successful at 9 to 5 jobs, but they know that they are made for so much more than a paycheck. They make six figures and they're like, you know what? I really want to make something of my life. And the newsletter goes deeper than I could ever go on Instagram or even YouTube. And I go deep into the mindset specifics and also the business strategy part of actually launching your dream business while you're working full time. And the whole idea is to get paid, right? Because let's be honest, if we all had all the money in the bank, I don't know, we might all be doing something different, right? We might be like, okay, I'm just going to work 5 hours a week volunteering somewhere and then do other things, right? But in the time that you want to work and contribute to life, you want to do something that you're enjoying, right? You want to
Yeah.
transition from corporate to doing your own business. And so that newsletter is really for those people who want to go deep. And I haven't even started the second part of the newsletter, but the second part of the newsletter is going to be a community where people can actually mastermind together and help each other. Because if anyone is trying to do this thing alone, they might go fast, but they will burn out very quickly. But when you do it with other people, at least in my experience, you go way farther and you don't burn out.
You just spoke to one of our core beliefs, especially when it comes to our communities, right? So it's an African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And I totally love that you are building around this concept because it's something that we have seen, help out in our community as well. Now, I'm really curious, right? You have this background, 12 years, 13 years, and all of this. And then you are launching your newsletter a decade plus down the line. Also, you mentioned that, you had after many trials and errors. And
Mhm.
so I'm just wondering, like, based on your experience and everything that you've had to be a part of so far, why did you decide to finally take the leap now?
That's a great question. Why did I decide to take the leap now? I didn't just decide to take the leap now.
Mm.
I have been trying to take the leap for years. I've tried different things. I even dabbled in emailing my lists or growing my lists several times, but it never really worked out for me. But now that I learned how to actually do a newsletter, like a newsletter, I think what people conflate a newsletter is they think it's just more content. You have to think of your newsletter as a product. However, it is free, but it is a product that you offer your people. And it's an opportunity to actually go deeper with you. They get to know you there. But very importantly, the product has a specific task, a specific work that's doing. Just like any product that you buy. You buy a hair shampoo, the job of that shampoo is to wash your hair and make it clean again. For the newsletter, my newsletter has one job. It is to help my people turn their annual salary into their monthly salary. And it's everything that they need to know and do it to actually get there. And it starts with building their own dream business and landing their first paying client. So that is the promise of the newsletter. So in terms of why did I decide to take the leap now, it's been coming for a long time. And now more than ever before, because we build so much on all these social platforms and they are not our platforms, right? Whereas the email, as like any, I think most people that are listening to this that want to build an email, they've probably heard it somewhere that your email list is your own asset. No one takes that away from you, right? So if I can build that and I can build my own community, I can build my own tribe. If one day Instagram or TikTok decides we don't like you anymore, of which they did that to me a week ago, they just randomly sent me something like, "Oh, you can no longer share links for no reason." I'm like, "Okay, why? I haven't done anything differently than last week." But my point is, you don't have control over these things. But more and more, as I saw that, okay, my work is very impactful. My work is very important to me. I would hate that I cannot reach the people that actually need what I do because Meta decided to do something funky with my account.
Wow. And I feel like you must have peeped at maybe the questions that I wanted to ask. Because one
I
question,
did not. I promise I did not.
one question that we usually would ask at the beginning of each episode is if you could give email marketing a job description in your business, what will it be? So when I heard you saying my newsletter has one job, like I felt it because
Yeah.
I feel like it just made life easier for a whole lot of people. And the fact that you said that they should see it as a product, right? So we talk a lot of productizing a lot of things, right? And today now we are productizing the newsletter, giving it one go. And
Mhm.
it's not even building community or anything. I loved how specific it was into what it was helping people to do because I feel like just with that promise alone, just with that one goal, content now becomes easier. What you want to send becomes easier. You know that this is the goal. So everything has to align with this. Now, I'm really curious, right? Because you've been doing this for a year. So that means a lot of planning, a lot of things have gone into it. So what was your process like? From idea, planning, strategy to now having a link that you can say you can sign up for my newsletter.
Hmm. What was my process like? Let me think about this. Well, one thing I noticed is this, and I think this goes for everyone. The actual decision to do something like this happens in a split second, right? It's just you decide. I'm going to do this. When I first started trying to send emails, though, I was just doing random things. In fact, sometimes I'll just take my Instagram post or my carousel post and I'm like, okay, let's just repurpose it into an email. And I think what changed was my attitude towards it, right? It's not
Yeah.
right. Oh gosh, I have to do more content and I have to do this email list thing. It switched from no, 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 this is actually my asset. This is my product. This is my baby that I get to share with the world. It changed from, okay, now it's something I'm just going to do randomly to, no. If I do this newsletter very well, a bunch of things are going to happen. Number one, like you said, is going to really streamline my content creation because from one newsletter, you can repurpose it into like 7 different things, maybe. You can repurpose it a bunch of talking head videos. You can repurpose it to an actual podcast because I have a podcast. I can repurpose it into a bunch of carousel posts. I can repurpose it into so many different things, right? So, or maybe like a quote post, maybe something that I put there.
Wow.
So many things. So it does that. The second thing that it does is it stops this thing that I call death by a thousand cuts. I want to do this here, do that, do this, do this. Like, no, let me put a lot of effort into this newsletter. And I know that from there, so much good stuff is going to flow out of it. Number three, it builds community, right? And it builds my own tribe. It builds my what's the person's name? I think it's Seth something that wrote about 1,000 true fans.
If it's 1,000 true fans, as the name of the book, then it's Kevin Kelly. But I know that Seth Godin also talks about community. He has a number of books. He has a book called Tribes.
Okay, anyway, somebody wrote, it wasn't even a book, it was just like one article that went viral a long time ago. But my point is, the newsletter allows me to build my own tribe. And it is from there that I can now, because I've built that trust, I've given them so much from my free product. Remember, it's a product. I've given them so
Yeah.
much from that free product. And so when I now sell something, it's so natural, right? It's my tribe. They're going to buy whatever it is that as long as it gives them value, they're going to buy something from me. And it's a safe space to actually launch something. So it does all that, all those jobs. And I'm like, wow, wait. So rather than trying to, maybe my link in bio has like 10,000 links. Oh, I have this offer and this one. And so it's like, no, just subscribe to my newsletter. That's it. You know,
Straight up.
straight up. Like, I mean, the only other thing I have there is my podcast, but that's because my podcast is a live thing and it's free as well. But straight up, just subscribe to the newsletter. You want to get more of me? that is where you get more of me. And it has just really reduced the noise in my life. Like, oh, whew, now I can breathe. And if I did it for just that reason alone, yeah, that is what helped me to just like flip that switch, because I saw the difference in having a newsletter and being very purposeful about it versus not.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Hmm.
Now, in this experience of building a newsletter, because one of the questions that people will usually ask is, "Oh, I want to get it onto my newsletter. How do I start? What tools do I use? Oh, do I need to set up this? Do I need to set up that?" So, how did you navigate that process and make it easy for yourself so you weren't overwhelmed?
Great question. I don't like work. And you probably noticed that even when you asked me to fill out a form for this, then I was like, and I always push back. If I perceive anything that's like, nope, I don't want to do this. The same thing with the newsletter. When I'm doing things in my business, I'm always asking, what is the smartest way to actually do this? Right. And like we said earlier on in this podcast, we're talking about how don't do this alone, right? Do it with other people. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got tips from people who have built their own newsletters or people who have helped other people build their newsletters. For example, I work very closely with the podcast producer of Ed Milet, which is like, do you know Ed Milet?
I am not sure.
Everybody, including you listening to this, should go and check out Ed Milet. Then you understand why. But anyway, so I work closely with people like that. So rather than me trying to do guesswork, and this is for everybody listening, rather than trying to do guesswork, I just go to people that are best at these things. Like, okay, I'm trying to do this. I've been knocking my head against the wall. Obviously, the advice I got from some other people about, oh, just repurpose your IG content. All obviously that is not working, and I need something else that actually works for me. So that's the first thing that I did. And from there, I boiled it down to two things. I already have a system that I use for all my back end stuff, that has all my payment links and all these things. And it has a newsletter feature. So I'm like, okay, we are going to keep this simple. So that's the first thing. Just use, if you already have a system that has a newsletter thing, use that, right? If you don't, go and ask AI and tell it to rank the easiest thing for you to use and what your budget is, right? Maybe you have a small list. Maybe you can start with a free version or something. And then number
Yeah.
two, I said that I don't like work. I punted everything that had to do with the system and building everything out. I punted everything to my VA. I'm like, I am not doing this. And some people might say, oh, but I can't afford a VA. Yeah, yes, you can. Because like you don't even need the VA to you don't need someone to do it for you every week. You can even get someone to, okay, I just need help setting this thing up. Or, like I said, ask AI, what is the easiest thing that I can do so that that is not your excuse for not actually starting? Because this is where a lot of people get stuck. Oh, I don't know what system to use. And it's like, stop it. Oh my gosh. Keep it simple to what is fit for you right now. For me, I happen to have a VA. So I'm like, I am not going to do this. The VA is going to take care of all the system stuff. And then I will focus on the actual content. And that is where my genius is. Because I already ahead of time decided that this is the job of this newsletter, by design, it filters out a lot of noise. Then I don't have to think about, oh, so what should I post about? No, I know what I want to write about. I know what information I want to give my people, right? Because I want to give them all the mindset and business strategies that will help them turn their annual salary into their monthly salary. Period.
That was so simple. Like, I know you said you don't like work, but I mean, I already had an idea of what I was expecting, but I didn't see this particular one coming. And just to put it out there, right? Because you said hire a VA. If you don't want to hire a VA, you can send me a DM because I could also help you do that initial setup.
There you
But
go.
that aside, that aside, like, I have this checklist, like the 7 steps to launch your email list. And you just turned the whole 7 steps into like 3 steps. You came up with the idea, you hired your VA, and you wrote the content. And, and you're good to go.
We're good
I,
to
I,
go.
I mean, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I think the second thing is the fact that you also solve the problem. I don't know if you consider you would have thought of it as a problem, but the next after how to start my list, another question that I always get is, in short, if you check like surveys I have from business owners, it says I don't know what to send, what to make people open, what to how to get people to take action, all those what questions that has to do with what they will actually write that will lead to the results they desire. But you just made it really simple because you had given your newsletter ab initio a job. And so everything was towards that goal. And even the way you attract people would be in line with that goal. So let's go into what you actually did to start getting people to join your list. Take us on that journey, please.
Yes, of course. You mentioned something just now about what people stress about, right?
Yeah,
And I think the reason why they're stressing about that is because they've forgotten why they're even trying to do a newsletter to begin with. The whole idea of, okay, people need to first open it and they need to be engaged, they need to be this, all of those things are, what do you call it? They are tactical things that come after the higher level strategy, decision, and your intent. At the end of the day, pull up higher before you even got to newsletter, before you got to anything. What is your reason for being in this business? Right? It's not so
yeah,
that people can open up an email and people can be engaged in a newsletter. At the end of the
sure.
day, what do you want your target audience to do? For me, I want to pull as many people as I can from corporate who don't belong in corporate into building their dream business because the world is waiting for the solutions that they are going to bring into this world. That is my main thing. So I'm not stressing about, oh my God, who's going to open my email? What should I say? I don't know what to say. No, at the end of the day, it's something that there's a reason why you started that business, and that there's a reason why you started a newsletter is to still help. It's a product. It's still going to help your people do that, right? And so, how did I actually get people to actually sign up? Right, that's your question.
Yeah,
Well, as I always tell people in my world, start with your network. Your network is your net worth. I literally just pinged people in my world. I was like, hey, I'm starting a newsletter. It's going to be this and this. Here's the link if you want to opt in. If you don't want to opt in, or you opt in and you decide to unsubscribe later, trust me, my feelings will not be hurt. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm doing it for you. And if you find value in it, you will stay. If you don't find value in it, it's okay. Bye. You
right.
know, so I heard someone say this in a group that I was in. She said, "Oh, it was not a newsletter. It was a YouTube channel." She said, "Oh, I want to grow my YouTube channel organically, but I don't want it to be that my subscribers are from my family and friends. Like I want it to just grow." And I'm like, "Well, that's dumb." Because your network is your network, is your net worth. You start with the people that already know and like you and trust you, right? And then you build from there. That is ego speaking right there. Everybody in your world needs to know that you have a newsletter. And if it's not useful to them, who do they know that might be interested in joining your newsletter? Please forward it to them. The end. Just start there. And then if you do a good job with your newsletter, somebody will see something and be like, oh, I need to forward this to so and so because they need to see it, right? And if you already have some kind of online presence, go and be loud about it. That's how you heard about my newsletter. I was just like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And it wasn't about, oh my gosh, look at me. I'm pretty in my picture in my newsletter or I write so well. It's about people need to hear what I have to say. People need to hear this stuff that I'm writing about in my newsletter. You are lucky and you are so fortunate to be part of my newsletter. You're not doing me a favor by joining. I'm doing you a favor.
oh my days. I love the flip, right? Because people need to own their newsletter. You see somebody that's like, I have a newsletter, but they haven't talked about it in like 2 weeks. But if you already see it in this way, oh, I'm doing them a favor. I am, bringing this, in short, I am the table. It's almost like you're not just bringing this to the table. You are the table. The newsletter is the table. Then you will want to talk about it because you know that the people will be blessed by whatever it is that you've put in there. And I feel like somebody needed to hear that, right? So thank you so much for sharing.
Mhm.
Now, this example that you gave particularly, I just wanted to touch a bit on it because a lot of times people feel like, and I sometimes I get where they are coming from because for some people they have really supportive family, so it's like anything they are doing, their family and friends just want to support them, but in their mind they know that, but these people aren't like my ideal targets. They're not my ICA, my ICP, target audience, whatever you want to call it. And so they are more concerned like, oh, if I have just these people, then how will I move forward to like the next step or, thinking further? Because it's like they feel or they may see it's like, and maybe I might just be speaking for some people, like they're having the wrong audience already on their list, right? So, what would you say to these group of people who are not, just saying it from a point of ego, or looking at it like from a business angle where they know that they need to have their newsletter is supposed to attract a certain kind of people, and they feel like these people are supporting them, but they are not those people.
That's a great and valid question. And the first thing I'll say to that group of people is stop being a perfectionist. Crawl before you walk. Like, use what you have first. And you know what that does for you? Even, yeah, they might be like you get 35 people from your inner circle who aren't really your target audience. But guess what? What it does for your morale. It's like, oh, I have 35 people. And you
Yeah.
start from there. And even in the content of the newsletter, you can say, who do you know would like to read this? Forward it to them. That could be the CTA in the newsletter. But these people are the same people that worry about step 100 when they haven't taken step 0. The same effort that you use to reach out to your network is the same effort that you use to blast it out online and reach out to your friends. Is the same thing. And when you're reaching out to your people, tell them, hey, I thank you for your support. But the best way they can do this for me, when you get my newsletter, please forward it to someone. Because then they see the content, right? And then from there, they can like, oh, yeah, I actually know somebody who could use this particular article, this particular issue of the newsletter. I'm going to forward it to them. But they need to first see it. So why are you worrying about step 100 when you haven't taken step 0 or step 1? At least do that first. In so doing, you might send it to someone who is in your circle and they give you some kind of idea that you never even thought about before. And it goes from there. Clarity will come with execution. It will not come with thinking, oh my God, how do I do this perfectly? Stop thinking about it's the wrong question. You're asking yourself the wrong question and you're worrying about a problem that doesn't exist yet.
Word clarity comes from execution. And just so you don't, in case you missed it, you weren't paying attention, she just dropped a really salient internal list growth strategy. I mean, we talk about all the collaborations, the eyes, and all those things to grow your list. But this one, can execute it and say, remember, these people already signed up and you're just saying forward to one person. When you're doing forward to one person, don't forget to put a link at the bottom that says, if someone forwarded this to you and you would like to receive it, sign up here, or you like to opt in, however you want to, but you like to be a part of our community, opt in here. So while they are doing the forwarding for you, you've already set up the system in place that helps you capture those new people. Really, really important.
Everybody in your world needs to know that you have a newsletter. Everybody in your world needs to know that you have a newsletter. And if it's not useful to them, who do they know that might be interested in joining your newsletter? Please forward it to them. The end. Just start there. And then if you do a good job with your newsletter, somebody will see something and be like, oh, I need to forward this to so and so because they need to see it, right? And if you already have some kind of online presence, go and be loud about it. That's how you heard about my newsletter. I was just like, hey, I'm doing this. And it wasn't about, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm pretty in my picture, my newsletter, or I write so well. It's about people need to hear what I have to say. People need to hear this stuff that I'm writing about in my newsletter. You are lucky and you are so fortunate to be part of my newsletter. You're not doing me a favor by joining. I'm doing you a favor.
Oh my days.
To do it for me. When do I launch it? Oh, okay, I can launch it in 4 weeks. That'll give me time. No, I'm just going to launch it in 7 days. But if I could go back and be a little more patient, I'll be like, okay, you know what? Let me launch it 3 weeks from now. And every day for those 3 weeks, I'm just going to go crazy. And people are going to be so tired of hearing about me. And they will have, you know what? Let me just subscribe to this stupid newsletter because after that, maybe I'll stop seeing her posts or she'll stop pinging me. But again, it's launched already. I now have even more arsenal to go to people. Well, not arsenal. I don't want to attack them. I now have more value, more gems, right, to put in front of them. Even from when you launch your newsletter, you still need to keep pubbing it anyway. So no harm done.
Okay. Now you're looking to the future. You want to add an interesting spin of things, which is something I've seen a couple of people try out. You want to bring in community in terms of interaction, not just the emails, right?
Mm.
If you don't mind, how do you see this play out,
Mhm.
and how soon do you think it will be coming?
Hmm. It'll probably come sometime in this summer because I'm also being careful to not inundate myself with so many things. That's not the only business I'm running, right? So I need to
Yeah.
be careful. So sometime this summer, maybe August. Then in terms of how I see it playing out, what I see happening is the group actually taking on a life of its own because the people that are joining, they have the same philosophy as me, which is we rise by lifting others. And so they understand that, wow, the more I share in this place, the more I get out of it, the more I help other people. And so I see people really interacting and really sharing about their struggles, but also helping each other out as they build their dream business. And for me personally, I am going to be sharing, like dropping gems there 3 days a week. So just like, voice notes or video notes, whatever it is, mini micro trainings to just get them to take action, something that's going to give them a quick win that day or that week. And that's how I see it playing out. Just a place for people to just be like, hey, I'm really struggling with this thing. I'm like, I feel like I'm not good enough to do this thing. I really want to go pitch this. I was like, no, do it. I pitched mine last week, something like that. So that's how I
Yeah.
see it playing out. Just a really high activity community where people are sharing very freely and learning from each other and growing as a result, and where I also get to share some things as well. And of course, I don't just do everything for free. Come on, guys. You know what the long game is here. When you join my community, if I am offering anything, people in my community would be the first to know and they'll probably get some kind of intro offer price for joining first or something. It's just another place to just deepen my relationship with people and my audience so that whenever I do launch something, the people that are coming into my paid world are people that I actually really want to work with because I'm selective. I don't work with everybody.
Mm. All right. So my final question would be this. If you had to advise someone who is hesitant to start, what's one thing you will tell the person?
Hmm. Well, what's the cost of waiting?
Mm,
Right? What's the
yeah.
cost of waiting? Because every day you wait, somebody else who is less competent than you, who has less experience, less skills, will grab the other person that could have been on your list and will grab their attention, win them as a client or sales or whatever it is you're selling. So, what's the cost of
Mhm.
waiting? Because the one or two things you do towards launching your newsletter or the imperfect newsletter you launch is way better than the perfect one and the 100 perfect steps that you didn't take that just in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this has been such an insightful and powerful conversation. And the first thing I need to let our listeners know is that if you want to join Paid in Full, the link is in the show notes. So go sign up. Just go sign up. Like, I don't think I need to tell you twice after listening to this conversation. But there's one more thing you have in store, which we haven't touched on in this conversation, which is a workshop with a very interesting name. You're sitting on gold. So can you tell us about this?
Yes, you're sitting on gold was born out of me always telling people that I'm talking to that you're sitting on gold. When we talk about all the things that they could be doing, their skills, their ideas, their strengths, maybe what they already have going on, and they're still hesitant about starting or building their dream business. So I launched a live workshop, is 60 minutes, but I think I'm going to turn it to 90 minutes now. And I help them turn their ideas, their business ideas, their skills, their strengths, and turn it to a very clear business concept that they can actually launch. And that also comes with a 90-day roadmap to finally landing their first paying client. And it's fun. We have a lot of fun on that workshop. So yeah, I have fun with it. So I just show them the goal that they're sitting on, and on in the workshop they're able to dig it out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually go to market with this right now. It's like, yes, you can.
The best thing about all of this is that we are not holding anything back. So all the links are going to be in the show notes so that with one click, you're inside, you're there, and nothing is left behind. No one is left behind. You're all carried along. It has been such a delight to have this conversation and look into your journey. Thank you so much for coming. And it has been a pleasure to have you here. And guys, don't forget, go sign up for Paid in Full.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Safar. This was great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're
Mm.
welcome. Hi, Dr. Sapphire here. Thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of Email Marketing Experiments. I'm going to ask a favor. Please leave a rating and a comment on this podcast. It goes a long way to help increase visibility for our podcast so that we can reach even more people. Till next time, this is still Email Marketing Experiments. Think it, test it, and share it.